What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Yoga for Dancers. In today's class, we're going to be giving the psoas, little TLC, give it a nice release and stretch it out. But before we jump right into the class, I just want to give you guys a little info about what the psoas is and why it's so important to take care of it and give it that time to release. Because education is motivation, and I want you guys to know why we're doing it and why it's so important for your health. So for those of you who don't know, the psoas looks like this, and it is one of our deepest muscles of the core, often called the muscle of the soul. It attaches our upper body to our lower body, starting at the back of the spine here at the 12th thoracic vertebra and goes down to the 5th lumbar vertebra, and then it wraps through the center to attach here at the front of our pelvis and our femur bone. So it is the one muscle that can lift up our legs to the front. Think grand battements, grand rond de jambes, grand jetés, even pirouettes, walking, anything that's bringing the leg forward is the psoas. So it's a super strong, super important muscle because while it's lifting the leg, it's also keeping our spine nice and stable and tall and lengthened. So it works super hard, and yes, it's super important to have a very strong psoas. But we also want to have really strong surrounding core muscles because the psoas can get really overworked since it's being used for 90% of our movement. And we need to make sure that as it's strong, it can also be nice and soft and supple. We don't want the psoas being too overworked so that starts shortening, because what happens then is that your low back alignment is going to start to get thrown off, kind of going to pull the vertebra forward and tilt your pelvis a little bit. And we don't want that. We want to be able to have a nice neutral pelvis and tall spine, and also having a long and flexible psoas will also allow you to have nice high arabesques and grand battements to the back, because we'll be able to lengthen through the front of the hip here. And then having a nice soft and supple psoas will also be able to allow you to have more oxygen and more prana being drawn into your body, because you'll be able to take deeper, more diaphragmatic breaths, opening up the front of the body here. And that'll just help you be more present when you're performing, when you're partnering, when you're learning choreography, and it'll just help keep your muscles fueled with more oxygen drawn in, so you'll have better stamina just in classes or whatever you're doing. So yeah, we'll just get right into it and hope you guys enjoy the class. Alright guys, so starting on your mat, we're going to start lying down. So just take a comfortable position. This is going to be a really nice, stretchy, relaxing class. So start with your feet together and knees out wide, and with your arms just resting above you, really opening up the front of the body here. Taking a deep breath in and exhaling, just settling into the mat, coming into this present moment. Tuning in with your breath, tuning in with your body, and just beginning to breathe with your diaphragm. So inhaling to expand the low ribs and low belly. With an exhale, letting everything fall back to the floor. Inhaling, gently expand. Exhale, letting everything deflate. Bringing your arms up over your head. Just going to tune into the psoas here. And the best way we can do that is with our breath. So breathing deeply into our diaphragm signals to our nervous system that we can relax. Turns on our parasympathetic nervous system, which tunes us into the energies of resting, digesting, healing, rejuvenating, relaxing, all that good stuff. Just maybe even closing your eyes, just taking this moment to settle into the present. an inhale, reaching your arms up overhead. With an exhale, draw your low back to the floor first, and then bring your knees up and hands by your side. Moving through a little flow here, inhaling, letting your back arch and letting everything open. Filling up that belly, and exhale, drawing your low back to the floor, a little core engagement, just a little bit as you draw your knees together, pressing that low back into the floor. Inhale. Exhale, press. Just connecting the breath and the movement. With your knees up, bring your feet a little wider apart and close enough that you can just brush your ankles with the tips of your fingers. From here, you're gonna roll up into a bridge, tucking the pelvis first, squeezing the glutes. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, rolling back down, bringing the hands down by your side. Inhale, press into the floor through your heels, squeeze your glutes, reach up. Stretching out the front of the body, and exhale, lower. Inhale, rolling up. Exhale, rolling down. One more time, inhale. Exhale, rolling down, squeezing your glutes all the way down. Rolling onto your back, and then rolling up, coming into a tabletop position with your wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, moving with the breath. Inhale, drop the belly, shine the third eye up towards the ceiling. Exhale, contracting the core, pulling it up into the spine as you pull your chin to your chest. Just moving through a couple of these on your own breath rhythm, just waking up the spine, finding a little fluidity, and just let your breath move you. Let the movement be just an extension of the breath. Beautiful, and tuck the toes and lift up and back to downward facing dog, walking your heels out a little bit, shaking your head no, plugging into the ground through your fingertips. Inhale, rippling forward, moving into a plank, nice strong core. And lowering down all the way to the floor. From here, stretching out the front of the body with some cobra roll-ups. But as you roll up, bending the right leg. And here you want to stay mindful of not kind of letting yourself shift over to one side. You might notice as you come up, really pay attention to what your body's doing here. As you roll up, if you feel that you start to shift to one side, that might be your body trying to bypass the psoas. That means it's really tight. So try to keep your hips square and even here. You might not go up as high, but you'll feel a stretch in a deeper part of your body, really targeting the psoas. Roll down. Inhale, rolling up, bending the left leg, keeping your hips squared. Rolling down with an exhale. Inhale right. Exhale lower. Inhale left. And rolling down, bringing your hands down by your side. On an inhale, squeezing your glutes, activating the back of the body, lifting up into locust. Exhale lower. Inhale, lift, squeeze the glutes, draw the legs together, shine the heart forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up, lengthening through the crown of the head and the neck. And lowering down. Beautiful, bringing your arms out to your side. Bend that left knee, bring it up and over to the right side of your body so that you can get this nice twist. Stretching into the front of the right shoulder. And breathe, connect back in with your diaphragmatic breath. Letting the belly inhale and and expand. Exhale and release. With an exhale, rolling back to the center, and then switching sides. Bending that right leg. Giving that left shoulder a nice stretch here. And exhale, rolling back to the center. Now bending both knees and reaching your hands back around to your ankles. You're going to press the feet into the hands and press up into bow. And here, thinking about lengthening through the spine, just opening up that entire front of your body. This pose is great to counteract any hunching over you might do in your day, any computer work or driving or just sitting over your phones. All of that sitting that we do in our life really contracts the psoas, so we're counteracting that with some nice open lengthening. Exhale, release. Bring your hands to your side, tuck the toes, lift up and back to downward facing dog. Walking out through the heels, and as you inhale, lift the left leg up to the ceiling, stretching out the legs. And exhale, coming forward, stepping that foot in between your hands, releasing the back knee down. Coming up, so we're not leaning too far into the hips here, but what we're doing is finding that nice 90-degree angle with the knee here, and then squeeze your right glute, and then really think about tucking the pelvis. So we're not taking that arch, but we're really trying to tuck, find that neutral pelvis, squeezing the right glute. Then inhale, reaching that right hand up. And this is creating this beautiful long line from your fingertips down through the front of your body and getting this really nice stretch into your hip flexors here. Keep squeezing that right glute. And then breathe, find that diaphragmatic breath. Let your belly expand. Contract. One more, really reaching that hand up and away, maybe even finding a little bit arched back, but keeping that pelvis as neutral as you can. Exhale, release those hands down. Point your right foot and then lift the back knee up and tuck the chin into your chest. Oh yeah. Whew. This pose really gets into the front of the hip here. Again, trying to tuck the pelvis a little bit here. Lifting that knee and continue to breathe. Find your edge. Find that place where you're getting good stretching sensation, but you can still breathe easily and in a relaxed way. Exhale, releasing that knee down, straighten the front leg, just mount over into a half splits here. Staying mindful to keep a little bit of a micro bend in that knee if you tend to hyperextend. Seeing if you can send your breath all the way down your spine, all the way into your low back, into your kidneys and your tailbone. As you inhale, shifting forward back into that low lunge. And then walk your foot out a little bit so that your toes are just off the mat and heel is still on for lizard pose. And in lizard, there's a couple things you can do. You can just stay here on your hands. You can come down onto your forearms, or you can even bend that right leg and reach up and back for that foot for an extra little quad stretch here. Nice opening through the hips, and wherever you are, whatever's feeling good for your body today, just breathe. Expanding the low ribs and belly. Maybe even closing your eyes and letting this be an inward experience. See if you can really try and release through your low belly, which I know is kind of counterintuitive to most dancers. We always want to pull in and kind of tighten everything, especially around our core. But here I just invite you to relax, to let everything open. Staying with your breath, just enjoying the sensations. Gently releasing. Coming back up onto your hands, bring that foot in just a little bit. Lift that back knee off. And then open up into this really deep side lunge here. So even if you're here, it's totally fine. But sinking down, really opening through the hips. Shine that heart forward, lengthen up through the spine. Take an inhale. And exhale. And then if you want to explore this pose a little bit, you can take things like a bind. And then really twist into that. Or you can reach that right hand to that left ankle and then reach up and over with the left hand to that right foot. That'll really open up the side body here. Feels really good in the left hip. Or you can just reach out in front of you. Wherever you are, just staying with your breath. Beautiful, coming back up and then pivoting again to face the front. Stepping that back foot in for a forward fold and then pulling your core in as you roll up to standing position. Now finding your grounding, plugging your feet into the mat, rooting down through that left leg. And first, before we do anything, we really want to lengthen out of that hip. So we're not like kind of hanging out here and putting that weight into the hip socket, but we're really finding length. Find that nice alignment, that nice posture, and then from there, bend that right leg and reach around for the ankle. We're going into dancer pose here. So extending the left arm out and pressing that right foot into the hand, trying to keep the hips squared here. So we're not like opening up into this. That's not really going to target the psoas, but trying to keep our hips square, sort of like we were doing in bow pose. But in dancer, we can stretch one side while we really strengthen up the stability of the other side. And then once you've got that, just reaching forward, maybe finding a little tilt. Finding length through the neck and energy shooting down that left foot to find your balance. Beautiful. Gently release that. And forward fold, diving down, shaking your head no. Planting your hands and stepping back into a nice strong plank, pulling your core up and in towards your spine, plugging those hands into the floor and pressing up and away. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, lifting back to downward facing dog. As you inhale, sweep that right leg up towards the ceiling, and exhale, step it forward in between your hands, releasing that back knee to the floor, squaring off your hips, finding that neutral pelvis, keeping that knee right over the ankle here. Really squeeze that left glute, make sure it's really engaged, lengthening up away from the pelvis and sweep that left hand up and away. Opening this long line of fascia here. And breathe. Finding just a slight tuck forward of the pelvis till you get that really nice stretch through the front of the hip here. And then relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Exhale, release that hand down, tuck your chin into your chest, point the back toe and lift that back knee off. And the reason this pose is so potent and so almost intense is because we're lengthening the psoas from two directions. By tucking our chin into our chest, we're stretching this back part where it attaches at our vertebra, pulling that way, and then also lengthening away through that left leg here, shooting back, stretching through the front of the hip where it attaches at our femur. So it's being lengthened in opposite directions, which is really good. That's what we want. It's just breathing here. Beautiful. Release that knee. Exhale, shift the hips back. Melt over that front leg. Staying mindful to not extend into that knee for my hypermobile dancers. Just keep a little micro bend in it. Inhale, shifting back to the front. Bring the feet to bring the hands to the inside of the feet, and heel to walk that foot out, bringing the toes off the mat and really opening up the hips here. You can be on your hands or on your forearms, or even to really open up the hips, roll onto this outer edge of the foot here and reach back for that foot to open up through the quads. And then even here, thinking about lengthening the tailbone and crown of the head away from each other. And breathe, staying with your breath. Gently release, bringing your hands back up, walk that foot back in, and step forward, coming to your forward fold. Pulling the core into your spine to support you as you roll up to standing. All right, and then find that grounding through your feet here. Finding your nice tall posture, making sure we're really staying open through the front of the hip, not kind of leaning over here, but staying really long through our posture. Grounding down through that right foot to bend that left knee here. And you want to think about, keeping your hips square here. So you're not gonna get that super high leg like you would if you opened up your hips. So it's not gonna be as high, but we're actually gonna get into the psoas by keeping the hips squared. So reach that right hand forward. And if this is as far as you go today, that is totally fine. Taking that slight shift forward. Energy going down through that right leg. And then releasing that. Forward fold, plant your hands, step back into a plank. And moving through your vinyasa, we'll all meet up together in downward facing dog. Sweeping that right leg up to the sky, and exhale, coming forward into pigeon. So bringing that shin parallel to the front of your mat, or as close as you can. If you're here or here, just find what feels good for you. We're trying to keep the hips again squared. And then just taking a moment to really lengthen up away from the pelvis, finding length in the spine, creating space in the vertebra, and then lengthening forward. I just said lengthening like 4 times, but you guys get the point. And then here, pigeon is such an amazing pose for the psoas because it's one of the few positions where we can actually just fully relax and release into it. It's not holding on to anything, it's not having to activate here. And then you can further the benefits of this pose for your psoas by really activating that belly breath here. Allowing your belly to expand as you inhale and soften as you exhale. Quite literally giving your psoas a massage with your breath. And I know it can be almost like a mental challenge for dancers, especially if you have a ballet background, to allow your belly to relax and not feel like you have to have it be contracted or sucking in or making it smaller. But just, really just allow yourself to open and relax. Like, you are so beautiful just as you are. Let's break that stigma against our bellies. Like, they're so amazing. They do so many things every day to keep us alive, to allow us to digest, to have all of our vital organs inside. So just allow everything to soften and allow the breath to move through you. Maybe just think of a few things about your body that you're really grateful for. the way that it takes care of us every single moment of every day and allows us to do so many amazing things. And inhale, pressing back up, plant the hands, and step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, now sweeping the left leg up. And exhaling, coming into pigeon on the left side, keeping those hips squared. Find length in your spine, and then moving down. And another note on our stomachs is that is the center of our solar plexus chakra, the energetic center of our power and our confidence and independence and, you know, ability to see the dream, to see the goals that we have and take the actions to manifest them. Like, it is literally our powerhouse center. So fucking own it. Let it out, let it relax, let your own power fill you. Don't play small. Have the courage to take up space. Know that you are so valuable, no matter what size your stomach is. Using that diaphragmatic breath to your advantage, and just think about really relaxing through the front of the hip and the low belly. Beautiful. Coming back up, and then coming on to your hands and knees here just for a moment, then sinking back onto your heels. We're gonna do a reclined hero pose. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can stay kind of right on top of your heels here, or if it feels good on your knees, you can split your heels apart and sink your sits bones to the floor. So find first what feels good for you there, and then starting to lean back, you'll lift the hips up slightly to tuck the pelvis that we're lengthening through the low back. We don't want to go into this with a really arched back. That's just gonna put a lot of pressure on those lower vertebrae. So tuck the pelvis and then just slowly make your way down to as far as feels good for you. It might be here on your forearms. If you're feeling a little more open, go all the way down. And let your hands rest above you. Come forward a little. And this pose is again opening the front of the body, finding length through the psoas, and giving your knees and quads and ankles a nice stretch too. So breathing here, relaxing into the floor, releasing any tension you might be holding in your shoulders or your jaw. Just letting everything slow down, maybe even closing your eyes. As you exhale, just begin to ease yourself back up. And then bringing your hands onto your ankles here, squeezing your glutes, going to press your pelvis up and away, letting your head drop back for camel pose. Opening up the front of the body, letting the heart shine up, letting the throat open, activating all of our upper chakras here. Squeezing the glutes to support your pelvis. Breathe deeply, let your lungs fill with oxygen. Beautiful, and slowly release down. Bringing your feet out in front of you now. And slowly making your way onto your back, hugging your knees into your chest. Then extending your left leg down, hug that right knee in, maybe even rock it a little side to side to really loosen up and massage through that front of the right hip. Then taking that knee over to the left, open up your arms wide and look over your right shoulder for the twist. into the belly to get all of the detoxifying benefits of this pose. Exhale, rolling back to center and switching legs. Drawing that left knee into your chest, giving you a little rock side to side. And letting it fall over towards the right, looking over that left shoulder. Breathing fully and exhaling, letting everything soften towards the floor. No need to hold on. Exhale, releasing back to center. And for our final resting pose today, we will not be taking a typical Shavasana, but instead we're going to bring our feet as wide as the mat and let the knees fall in together. And then just letting your hands relax onto your belly and your low ribs. And this position is called Constructive Rest Position. And again, it's one of those poses that allows the psoas to totally release here. You can feel for yourself and your hip flexors. They're not activated, they're not engaged. And if they are still feeling a little tense, maybe just give them a little massage to encourage them to soften, maybe even working up your legs into your quads. And then letting your hands rest. And if your psoas is really tight, you might find that your low back is really arching up off the floor. So just without forcing it, not doing anything too forceful, but we do want to think about the low back just slowly easing down to the floor. Softening down. And slowing down our breath. Closing the eyes, letting the shoulders soften, the back of the neck and the top of the head soften, letting the eyelids be heavy and just surrendering to the weight of gravity, letting it hold you to the earth and feeling the support below. Still breathing into the belly, just letting the breath be soft and easy, activating our parasympathetic nervous system, just allowing yourself to rest, inviting in rejuvenating energies to relax and to let your body heal and repair itself. This is a great practice to do after you've had a long day of dance rehearsals, or if you've been doing a lot of sitting today, if you had to drive a lot or sit in class or take a long flight, this is just the best thing you can do to rejuvenate your whole being. So I encourage you to stay here as long as you like, closing your eyes, letting the breath be soft. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Send yourself some gratitude for taking the time to show up on your mat. Do your self-care for the day. And just know that you're going to be feeling so good for whatever you have going on tomorrow. Thank you all for showing up to practice with me today. And we'll see you next time. Namaste.